Hello and welcome to Uncooking, the show where we teach you how to take prepared foods and uncook them down to raw ingredients. Today we'll be doing pizza. Now this is a very common prepared food, so learning how to uncook it can be extremely helpful. Okay, here's the pizza, so let's jump right into the uncooking. The first important rule is that when you're uncooking, you should be working in pretty much the reverse of the normal cooking process. So the first thing we're going to do here is take off any of the outer seasoning. In this case, it's red pepper flakes, so I'm just scraping them off with my knife and placing them in a bowl. The next thing we're going to do here is take the crust and use a knife to scrape away the cheese and sauce combination. So I'm just using the knife to strip away that cheese sauce membrane and folding it down into the bowl here. And then we're going to go through and make sure we scrape away as much of that sauce from the crust as possible, because we're trying to isolate the main ingredients here. So we have the crust off to the side and then the sauce and cheese together in a bowl. Now let's go to work on that cheese sauce mixture. We're going to add some water. I'm using tap water, but you can pretty much use any substance that contains only water, and then just give it a stir. We're trying to rinse away the sauce from the cheese here, so don't be afraid to get in there and use your hands if needed. And at the end, really give the cheese a good wringing out to make sure there's no sauce residue left behind. We'll put it off to the side in a bowl and then move the sauce bowl away as well. Now I'm going to separate the crust into two different pieces. You can tell by the different appearance that they had different amounts of cooking energy, and so we have to uncook them differently as well. It's time to really kick things up here with the blender. We're going to blend each piece of crust individually. The goal here is to grind down the crust to the bread powder from whence it came. So be sure the two types of crust are still separated and take a moment to check that powder for consistency. The finer it is, the more uncooking we've accomplished. Here I'm going to transfer the sauce mixture into a cylindrical steel bowl with a handle. If you remember, we added some water to help separate the sauce from the cheese, so now we must remove that unnatural substance by reducing the sauce over high heat. I got a little carried away here and accidentally added some pepper, so I am just going to skim that out. Now you can look here and see that sauce is reducing nicely, getting that color that we're looking for. At this point, I'm going to use a long, shallow wooden bowl to transfer the sauce from the steel bowl back to the original bowl. Alright, now we need to work the cheese into a usable ball, but the first thing I'm going to do is grab a few paper towels and try to soak up any water, oil, or milk that might be leaking from the cheese. And if you're really gung-ho about it, you can maybe save the paper towels and wring them out later into your oil or milk containers. Here I'm just continuing to work the cheese until I get a nice spherical cheese ball. And we all know the natural shape of cheese is shredded. So what we're going to do here is use a grater to finish the uncooking process on that cheese ball and bring it back to its true natural form. After the cheese is shredded, we'll place it into a ceramic power lean bowl and let that stray cooking energy just seep out naturally. We're going to use the freezer here to accelerate the uncooking process of the sauce and the crust. Just pop them in there. 15 to 80 minutes later, we'll take out the sauce and the flat portion of the crust. The edge of the crust needs to stay in a little bit longer as it had more cooking energy that needs to be leached out. This is because it was more exposed when the pizza was cooking. Now it's time to blend the two crust powders together to finish the uncooking. Mix the two bowls of crust thoroughly into a separate bowl and then pour the mixture back into the original bowls. From here you can take both bowls and pour them into the blender and give it a good final shredding. This will ensure the consistency of the bread powder will be even and usable later on. Because both parts of the crust are now on the same raw energy level, we can combine them into a final bowl for easy distribution. Alright, and there you have it. We got all these great raw ingredients that we harvested from that worthless piece of pizza. Now all we got to do is store the ingredients with anything we have at home. I got a red pepper shaker, a glass flour bowl, a plastic mozzarella bowl, and a pizza sauce jar that do great for storage. And here are the finished products. We got a healthy amount of raw ingredients here, and we can use these in a variety of dishes like lasagna, pizza. I hope you had a great time uncooking with me today, and I hope to see you again very soon.